Civil War, one of the most influential wars in the American society, as it has sparked so much controversy throughout the years as to whether we should keep the South, whether a whole bunch of other things of to why the war was so controversial. It's a battle between us. If we can't beat us, we can't beat other countries. We can't be a country if we can't maintain our longevity, and we can't be an individual and not separate. So, thesis is I'm going to be telling you about why we should take down Confederate monuments. Not maybe as much take down them, destroy them, but relocate them. I'm going to be telling you why we should, what they cause, what they do right now as is, and how it could help relocating them. My main points are the glorification of the villain in these monuments, the circle of hate they cause, and the underlying racism that they represent. The glorification of the villain. Many statues are erected to honor said person who was erected in place, person, thing. Erecting these statues in honor of these Confederate soldiers, Confederate leaders, may not always be to honor them. It could also be to idolize their ideas. These statues usually represent idolizing that person, saying their ideas are okay, saying what they did was okay. So keeping these up is just really a kick in the face to the North, saying, hey, we kept these up, we still idolize these people, we still think that they are still good people. I have a picture of one Confederate monument right here. The circle of hate they cause. In the South, there is still a lot of racism that goes on down there. The African Americans, I'm not going to say suffer, because they don't. It's very negative towards them. These African Americans have to sit and watch as these monuments still stay erect to idolize these people that fought against them, that wanted them to still be slaves. It's just a very hate relationship between the African Americans and the Southerners. The third point is the underlying racism they represent. These statues, as they're up, they cause people uncomfort. They still represent racism, no matter what you think. These monuments, the flag, the Confederate flag still is used for hate crimes today. The monuments are still looked up to for their ideas, for their purpose, for what they did. They still honor them for how they acted, and they shouldn't be. The South lost. It should be a take it down. It should be a you can't idolize these people because they were in the wrong. And these statues were not erected in bad places. Most of these monuments have been names of schools, which is still not as good, but the vast majority of these monuments have been erected in front of courthouses. Here's a picture of a monument directly in front of a courthouse. And the thought and idea of that is these monuments in front of a courthouse have to be a very negative thought for an African American going into that courthouse. The idea of walking in front of a courthouse in the South for a crime you did not commit, but seeing a Confederate flag in front of you, not Confederate flag, a Confederate monument in front of you, has to be uneasy. It has to make you feel like you're not going to be able to win your court case. A fair hearing with Lady Liberty, with her equal balancing, does not seem fair if you have a Confederate monument standing in front of the courthouse to make you assume you're not going to have a fair trial, to make you assume that the people in the town are not going to want you to be free or go free. In conclusion, I don't think these monuments should be destroyed, so to speak, but I think these monuments should be moved to better areas, museums. So the history of the Civil War is not destroyed, but they're not in front of courthouses and in private or public property to where you can just go out and see them and you can idolize them still, and they are representing many different ideas that are not common and not wanted anymore. In review, these statues and monuments represent glorification of the villain. They represent the circle of hate that's caused in the South with these monuments being up, and they represent the underlying racism that dwells inside of them. Again, in conclusion, I don't think these monuments should be destroyed. I don't think they should be just hammered down or put in private property to where no one can see them. I think they need to be in a museum